You want to know the real cost of broken onboarding?
Companies lose 20% of new hires within the first 45 days.
20% gone before they even started.
And a lot of that comes down to one thing. Nobody actually explained what they were walking into.
When every person gets a different version of the story, no one knows what is real.
So today, we're talking about video as your secret HR weapon, the tool that gets everyone on the same page from day one.
So you can stop explaining the same thing 50 times and start building a team that actually gets it.
The fix? Simpler than you think. Change the Reel with Monique Velasquez
And Piper Kessler.
For more than 20 years, we've worked in video production behind the scenes, helping mission-driven organizations and leaders turn complex ideas into content that actually moves people.
We've seen how media can either reinforce tired narratives or challenge them.
This podcast exists for leaders who know their stories matter and are ready to stop guessing and start using video strategically to further their mission, not just fill a content calendar.
Each month, we drop 2 types of episodes.
One with Piper and I kicking it, sharing production insights from our own work,
and another featuring real stories with leaders who use media to create change
and as a tool for connection. This is Change the Reel. Representation starts here. Okay. Today, we're breaking down how video supports your business, not just your marketing, because video isn't just for marketing. We think it should be part of your business infrastructure and a supporting part of your business.
So we're going to go into hiring, onboarding, and retention, also known as where leadership burnout quietly lives. And honestly, this is where we currently are in our business.
Truth. We're just pulling it back. It's painful right now.
So let's point to some reasons why hiring and onboarding is not working. We're putting ourselves in this group.
Right. For a lot of small businesses, most onboarding processes aren't designed or planned. They're reactive, right? It's more like a reaction. It's like I've been guilty of the reactive onboarding process.
Right. So you're at the point where it's like, okay, we've hired somebody. Now let's figure out how to bring them in. Here's what's wild. According to Gallup, only 12% of employees strongly agree their organization does a great job of onboarding.
So that means almost everyone is just winging it. So let's talk about, the winging it process. We are super busy, right? And this is a part of the business that can feel very reactive, especially if you're growing, especially if you are involved with some big project and you need to have hiring done. And so we end up as leaders repeating ourselves when we talk to people that we're onboarding, and we're repeating the same information. Make sure that you have this standard process. Make sure that you talk to the client in this way. And if you're repeating it out of your memory, you're probably leaving out some of the best detail. And so there are errors that are happening, and those errors will be on repeat because you didn't write it down and have a process for it, right? And something else that happens when you're sort of winging it is there's no standardized communication. You don't have a checklist of things that you're talking about, right? And so rumors start happening. Oh, I heard it was broken and we don't do that process anymore. It's like, well, why would you think that? Because it wasn't written down, right? What other things are you seeing about the hiring process?
Well, employees are unclear on the expectations, and they have to ask questions every time they go on a shift.
Right. And if you think about it, nonprofits, they have volunteers, they come in for big events, and they have, either the rumor mill is trying to tell them, oh, there was, this happened, and so don't do that. Or they aren't, they're supposed to, maybe they're ushers and they're taking tickets. I can think about, the nonprofit that I know about that has volunteers come in and take tickets. And it's like, well, you're supposed to take tickets this way and put them over here so they have, an accountability, but that information isn't going through.
I've gone on a shift before and shown up and something changed because the equipment changed. And it was changed in the moment, and I, as the boss, didn't know. And so that information, how are you going to get that information to everybody else and then on to the newly onboarded employee?
Right. And so that expectation should it should be written out. I expect this.
It might be on an old SOP and not been currently changed.
And something else that happens, like if you are a volunteer-based organization, you may have volunteers that disengage quickly. It's like, they're just not put together. They're not good at onboarding people. It seems really chaotic and disorganized. So they feel unsupported, or they feel uncomfortable when they go on their shift, and they're like, probably won't do that again. And so you're going to start losing engagement from volunteers without a real process.
Yeah, because you want your volunteers or your employees to have confidence.
That's right.
And, who wants to show up when you're not sure?
That's exactly.
So here's where it gets expensive. Research from, I call it SHRM. I don't think that's really, but
I don't think it's true.
SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management. They're a global professional association. Shows the average cost of hiring a new employee can be over $4,000, and that doesn't include lost productivity.
$4,000 just to have a new hire, just the process of getting them on board, right?
Right.
So when it fails, you don't get them onboarded in a reasonable way. You're not just annoyed and inconvenienced. You're actually burning money. And honestly, it's easier when I follow a checklist and think out the process. I like it when I'm able to rethink why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And I reframe it in a way, instead of thinking I'm losing new hires, I think I'm not losing people because we're not capable. We're losing people because they are not clear about our mission or their tasks as they're supposed to be focused on when they come aboard. Mm. So I've reframed it in a way that is more about fixing my process rather than they were broken when they came in. Because I'd like to think we pick good people, right?
Yeah, we do. So, okay, before we even get into solutions, let's talk about who this actually applies to.
Okay. So some people are asking themselves, is this me? Could I be like them? Is that me? And the answer is probably 100% yes, it's you. So we're going to do a few short call-outs, and you need to self-identify whether you fit the profile of the folks that this is for. Set us up, Piper.
Okay, all right. So if you're an association or a membership organization, listen up.
Yes. If you're onboarding new members, volunteers, or board leadership on a regular basis,
and every time it feels slightly different,
you don't have a system. You have a confused order, or dare I say, chaos.
Now,
I hear that in my head as an echo, chaos.
Now, let's talk to nonprofits and volunteer teams. So this is a big one. Nonprofits rely heavily on volunteers.
It's true. And volunteers don't just stick around when they feel confused or supported. They feel nervous. They don't like the energy, right?
And you don't have time to retrain people every month.
And this is where a growing business is also in this category. You may be hiring quickly or need seasonal workers.
If you've hired more than 2-3 people in the last year, or you anticipate a need for seasonal workers,
this is where things start to break in your system or your onboarding process when you're growing. Now, how about lean teams, right? That are wearing too many hats, that are just doing all the things.
Yeah. So this one hurts a little. Small teams doing big work. And this is the reason it hurts is we fit here.
It's true. Where one person is the HR, operations, leadership, training, payroll, all the things.
And the onboarding department.
Yes, all the things.
Remember, according to Gallup, only 12% of employees strongly agree their organization does onboarding well. I don't think we actually talked about this stat before, but I have seen it before. 12%
Wow.
of employees strongly agree their organization does not do onboarding well.
Yikes, yikes. So odds are, like me, you are not the exception, right? If any of that felt a little too familiar as an association, or you have a membership, you're a growing nonprofit or a growing business, or you have a lean team, then this video changes the game for you.
Okay. So let's shift the conversation to what most leaders do versus what actually works.
All right, let's walk through this in real life. Let's look at what might be your current reality. You hire someone. You give them some documents, maybe a handbook or a book of SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and you drag them into meetings and you fill up their calendar.
You hope they figure it out.
That is a lot of things, right?
According to GlassDoor, organizations with a strong onboarding process improve new hire retention by 82% and productivity by over 70%.
Before I move on, let's just talk about that. 82% retention.
Stay. Yeah.
Because you have a strong onboarding process. And then productivity increased 70% faster, in essence. So that's a way to get that money back pretty quickly. We know that information in a video outperforms opening and understanding from employees, right? We talked about that stat in opening information inside a video or training and that sort of thing. Our employees, we know, are telling us exactly the same thing, that they want to see information through video.
Right.
More videos, please, is what I keep hearing. So now this idea of using video doesn't look like it's an option.
Right.
It looks like a growth strategy for me. And I'm thinking that you're in the same category.
So what would happen if you took a different approach on your onboarding process?
Now imagine this system of onboarding, right? Cue the harp music. Day 0, you give them a welcome video. The first day, you have a role clarity video. Just outlines what they're supposed to do for your company, your organization, or as a member, what role they play. And then in your first week or so, you have task-based training videos, like what you're going to do. Step A, how do you get an email? How do you send mail? How do you get a key? How do you sign things? How do you assign things or find out if you've been assigned something? And then the next thing is the ongoing company updates via video, because we know those get eyeballs and those get watched, right? So imagine that system.
So now your onboarding is consistent, it's scalable, and it's not dependent upon you.
Right, because you've already done the work. If your onboarding works when you show up, and that's the only time, it's not a system. Let's move to action steps.
All right. So what can you do this week? We have 3 actions for you.
Three.
Here
they are. You can accomplish this from your desk, or you can have it hired and have it done for you. So first, record a 2-minute welcome video. Hi, welcome to X organization. We think you're awesome for coming to work with us. So that's the first one, your welcome video.
Number 2, turn one repeated explanation that you have into a video or a series of short videos.
Nice. That makes it nice and easy. So that's number 2. Number 3, define what does success look like for that person. You do that on camera and you tell them what success looks like.
So just taking one of these actions starts to remove you, the overworked owner, as the bottleneck.
Right. Takes you right out of that and helps your system flow without you. This gets you back your time and really solidifies the system that you're working through. If you're realizing your onboarding lives in your head,
which it probably does,
this is exactly what we address in our VIP sessions. We help you map out your message across your business goals, identify key video messaging like HR-focused videos, and we help you build a system so that you stop repeating yourself to the staff, to the volunteers, or your membership on the phone and taking up time. So those are the types of things that we go through in the VIP membership.
And this gives your team clarity and gives you back time.
We love when we get our time back and that we don't have to do the thing over and over and over again, right? If this episode hits for you, send it to someone on your team, because alignment doesn't just happen by accident. As a small business owner for over 20 years, I know that wearing all the hats saves money in the short term. It is also when time for all the things creates burnout. Mm-hmm. We want to see businesses that look like ours succeed. We understand that not every company and organization has the same culture and perspective on the problem that they solve. That is why we're talking about HR supporting videos today. We want to make your journey to success easier.
And if we want you to stop being the bottleneck.
Yeah. Start with one video. Not a perfect one, but a finished video.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this episode of Change the Reel.
If you liked it, hit subscribe, share the episode, or drop a comment. We actually read them.
Connect with us or any of our guests on LinkedIn. Check the show notes for links.
And if you're done with DIY and ready to record something that matters in a safe, inclusive space, check out our studio at VelasquezMedia.com.
Remember, representation starts here. Hasta pronto.
See you soon.